Hello, my friends, my family, my esteemed colleagues. Since hydration and cellular detox is the essence of our well-being, here I will mention some tips and technical information that can only be gathered through experience. And since a great majority of you are just beginning at this, this is going to help you understanding your body better so you can support it in the process. Once when you go through this process yourself, you will understand it better and you will be able to help your family, your friends, relatives, because again, as I said many times, we do not need doctors. We need knowledge. But because of the miseducation and misinterpretation of symptoms, we always become afraid when pain shows up. We think, because we are being told that diarrhea is bad, that it will dehydrate you, you will die, you cannot have diarrhea, so we fight it. We don't understand it. Diarrhea is actually the essential part of cleansing. And if you come up with diarrhea, it means that you are releasing toxins and you should let them out. Now, because we are being told not to consume salt, and this is our way how to bring back the minerals that we are losing every time with any kind of a detox, even through urine, then if we have diarrhea and we drink water, we are going to basically very rapidly flush minerals out, and this becomes very dangerous. We can die from it. Yes, this is true. You are not going to dehydrate because of diarrhea. As long as you are turning back into your body what you are losing, which is minerals. You let the garbage out, but minerals you have to bring back. And you take them back by drinking plasma. The plasma I'm talking about is water with minerals, water with natural, not iodized, not bleached or processed sea salt. Only sea salt. Forget about mine salt. Sea salt. Now, here is the thing. The protocol clearly states that you have to drink minimum 3 liters of plasma a day. Now, this is general stuff. Now, why general? Because for some people this is not enough. Not because it's for some people too much, but for some people it's not enough. And also, as it states in the protocol, taking a half teaspoon of sea salt for 1 liter of water, this is okay to start with. As soon as you get used to this salinity, you will see that your mind will urge you to put more salt. And you should be taking around 1 teaspoon. But you can go as far as high as you go. Sometimes I even say, well, drink extra salty, which means you add more. You put 1.5 teaspoons or even 2 teaspoons for 1 liter of water. Why? Because sometimes we have to induce diarrhea. It just doesn't come. Why not? Why some people, when they drink 3 liters of plasma, after 2 days, immediately they start with diarrhea, and some people actually don't, and they even feel constipated. Well, it all depends on how dry is the blood, how dense is the blood. Because once when you start hydrating, when you start putting plasma, not water, plasma, you are raising a plasma level. But if your blood is really very dry, if it's lacking plasma, then at the beginning you are just going to be filling up the system. Your blood, you have way too small amount of blood, and which is very dense, very thick. This is how you dilute it. Forget about what doctor tells you, well, I take aspirin to dilute your blood. This does not dilute your blood. Plasma does. And you may need more. This is why, again, the knowledge comes through experience. We may know technicality, but experience is what gives you more the insight of what is happening with the body. We all react the same way, but depending on many factors associated with workings of your body. When diarrhea comes, well, people say, well, salt is giving me diarrhea. Well, yes, it's giving you diarrhea, but not because of the salt, not because of salt itself creates this in your intestines, but because it's raising your plasma levels, and now it is guaranteed. If you have low blood levels, which means you are low on plasma, then your blood is toxic because it cannot cleanse. This is why your kidneys start working bad, because there's not enough plasma. This is why your urine is getting dark and smelly. There is not enough plasma in your body. Now, you start raising the plasma, and your blood is very toxic. So as soon as there is enough plasma to trigger the switch for cleansing, you are not triggering the switch number 1, which is your kidneys. You are triggering simultaneously switch number 2, which is your mucosal tissue, or even switch number 3, which is your skin. And you may get skin rashes. So this all depends, again, on how toxic is your blood. And hydration depends on how much plasma your body needs just to start kind of functioning properly. Now, when you break in diarrhea, you continue drinking the amount of plasma. If 3 liters made it, fine. If 3 liters did not trigger it, go to 4 liters. If 4 liters of plasma did not trigger it a day, go to 5 liters. But usually the first time when you start, 3 liters will do it. It's very seldom it doesn't. So now you know you have to increase it. Especially you can do, instead of 1 liter of plasma in the morning, and this 1 liter has to be in one gulp. I have half liter glass, so I took 2 glasses, one after the other, because you want to rinse all the toxic mucus crap that build up during the night. Otherwise you get nausea, and this also through diarrhea then goes out. If a lot of toxins came out and you had nausea, you may even vomit. Okay? If nausea is weak, then you just flush it through. If it's stronger, you drink water, you're vomiting. You are not vomiting because of salty water per se. You are vomiting because of the toxic buildup that is in your stomach that happened during the night by cleansing your blood. Now, let's say your cleansing is going fine. Remember, colon is your strongest detox valve, and you want to leave it open. And as your blood is being hydrated and cleansed, it becomes cleaner and cleaner. You feel better and better, and pain goes away. Pain is always related to toxic blood, always. So you start feeling with no pain. Doesn't matter what you suffer from, the pain starts diminishing. First, when you start loading on plasma, it may even get up higher, because now you are stirring the toxins. Very often toxins are being pushed aside. You get kidney stones. Why? Because toxic uric acid could not be taken out because there was not enough plasma, so it starts crystallizing in your kidneys. So it's not the salt. Often I get people, well, you know, if I drink too much salt, am I going to get kidney stones or gallbladder stones? It's just the opposite. You are allowing cleansing. So now when blood becomes clean enough and your cells start hydrating, now this is another kick. You may be having diarrhea for 3 weeks every morning, not whole day. Usually it's the first morning flush. That's why you drink the liter, so flush the system from all the toxins that build up overnight from cleansing your blood. And then during the day, once when you flush them out, you are okay. But then comes this second part, which is, I call it the second part of the hydration process, when blood is clean enough and your cells start taking out, start hydrating. And as soon as they do this, if they are very toxic, very acidic, they find opportunity and just dump the first garbage load. And where do they dump it? In the blood. And your blood becomes extremely toxic. But now let's not talk about symptoms of this, let's talk about hydration on its own. As soon as cell starts hydrating, your body needs more plasma. So 3 liters were, let's say, working for you at the beginning, and you had diarrhea and everything was fine. And all of a sudden, you are still drinking 3 liters of plasma, but you notice that your feces is getting more formed and harder. Well, this is because your body is requesting more plasma. So it's sucking back all the plasma it can take into circulation. But what very often happens, because again, most of my clients are extremely toxic, they're elderly people that have lost faith in medicine, heavily medicated, and we get rid of all the medication and we start with the cleansing process. So we are talking about a lot of toxicity for a lot of time and very dry cellular structure, acidic. So what very often happens, that still when they go to bathroom in the morning, there is still this mucousy kind of a loose stool going out, but there are also formed harder pellets in it of feces, of excrement. Now what is happening here? This is showing you that your blood is still very toxic. You are eliminating the mucousy stuff. It is the toxic mucus that has left your blood and that is going out. But since your body needs as much plasma as possible, because now it's also hydrating, not only cleansing, it is sucking all the water possible. It will not suck the toxic plasma, toxic mucus, but from the feces, whatever water was still there, it's just sucking it, and this is making these formed pellets. So this is your first indication that you need to increase your plasma intake. If you wait, you're gonna get hard stool and constipation, and you are blocking your biggest detox valve. And what happens if you allow this to happen? Then all the cellular toxins that have left your cells and entered the blood now cannot be cleansed, and you are going to start getting symptoms of toxic blood, which will trigger all the symptoms that you used to suffer from during the life. They were all based on toxic blood. And now your blood becomes highly toxic because the toxins that come out of cells, they are very, very strong acids. And you can break with pain. If you have arthritis, your joints start hurting like crazy, your muscles, headaches. Headache is usually the first symptom. So make sure when you feel those little pellets forming out, even though you still have mucousy stool, loose stool, but those pellets are there, this is indication you quickly have to go and drink more plasma to avoid slowing down the blood detox, to avoid pain to come back. So just start drinking, and you increase. If you are drinking 3 liters, go to 4 liters. And if those pellets are still there, go to 5, 6, until you get pasty-free stool. Doesn't have to be diarrhea as long as it's pasty. And usually, because you are detoxing big amount of poisons, there are toxic acids which again bring symptoms of toxic blood. They will, and when they come into your intestines and in your stomach, they will cause inflammation. It's like eating poison. Longer it stays there, the more problems you're going to have. So get them out as soon as possible. If you have to go to bathroom to defecate 3-4 times a day, do it. Don't hold it. You can say, well, I can hold this. Don't. This is toxic garbage. Get it out. So we gotta get in tune with our body and help it. And of course we have to understand what we are doing. It's all about keeping the temple clean, as Jesus said. We have to keep our body clean. Now, in time, the toxic level, the toxicity that is leaving your cells is diminishing. So your blood will easier and easier handle the toxic load, and then all of a sudden the toxic load goes below the radar, which means the second switch is off. You are just going to continue cleansing with your basic cleansing organs, which are your kidneys. So you are still going to urinate a lot. The urine will be transparent. You will think, oh, it's clean. Well, these are acids, you don't see them. They could be clear. But if you let them linger in your bladder, you are going to have symptoms of infection. You urinate and it's going to burn. Why? Because of these acids. Doctor right away goes, antibiotic, this, forget about it. It's nothing to do with bacteria. It's your toxicity coming out. And you got to flush it. Why people eat asparagus? Because it creates the diuretic effect, and you flush and flush and flush. But you don't need this. They drink plasma, but body will do it without being poisoned by medicinal plants. So now I guess you can understand better how the body works, and that drinking plasma is necessity. People complain, well, but I cannot sleep, I'm urinating. So once when your body is properly working and cleansing, so what? You get up I'm cleansing for years, and I still have to go twice at night, get up. Because we are living in a toxic environment. Okay, I'm still doing experiments, and now I'm less careful also. Because I know what I'm doing already, I know in what stage I am, I understand my body, and I know where we are going, so it's not that crucial, but I have no pain. And when I had my back pain, again, it was from, you see, toxicity comes, it's frequency. and it comes from different things, and big problem are our emotions. And I contract its frequency. I contract it from people I'm working with. And then if I don't eat correctly, because I'm so many years in this stuff. So once upon time, I just break loose and I go into chocolates and I go to ice cream and bottle of red wine. Well, then I don't detox. And then back pain comes. So I ask a shaman for quick intervention, releasing the frequencies. And then, of course, after that, bingo, diarrhea again. Because body sees everything as a frequency, but reacts to it like it is something in a particle form, because that's what brain does. It just turns it into particles. So for us, it becomes something palpable, physical. Even once, when you notice that diarrhea is not there anymore, so you can lower the water intake and just maintain your stool soft and pasty. But then it can happen that all of a sudden you start feeling bad. Why? Because one organ or tissue was triggered to do more detox. It's very difficult to take everything out from the cells. And it's all frequency based. So maybe moon is in a position that right now is vibrating and sending some energy that your cell needed to release what is there. Maybe dog coughed and create a frequency. Could be from anywhere, the frequency could be triggered. Maybe thought came. You remembered something from the past. Once when you remember, whatever you feel is a signal that frequency is being created of this. And this frequency either came from someone or your brain created it. And it will affect you. It will affect every cell in your body. And if that frequency is such that creates a response of resonance in part of your body that had some trapped bad energy in it, well, it will release it. And then when it releases it, it goes, you become conscious of it. Your brain starts receiving it. It came from the cell, goes into the brain. It starts vibrating, brain gets it, and reacts to it. And transforms it into how it is programmed, depending on the frequency, program, ping, and then all of a sudden you start freezing, you feel cold, and then all of a sudden you start getting hot. Well, these are all symptoms of toxic effect on the blood and your body's reaction to the toxic blood. And after that, I assure you, diarrhea will come. Because this is where the toxin come out. Happened to me, happened to my wife. After years of cleansing, all of a sudden some energy came up, I don't know from where. Different time for me, different time for my wife. But all of a sudden in the morning she starts shaking like a... And we are in tropics. And I try to warm her up, nothing works. And all of a sudden she starts warming up and she goes into high fever. Really, 40 degrees. She was hot, burning. And then all of a sudden, this goes down, And she starts feeling good. And I said, okay, so relax. Oh, let's go shopping. I said, did you have your diarrhea yet? No. I said, well, maybe we should wait. No, let's go. And then once when we're in shopping center, well, doctor, I think I have to go to bathroom. Well, and diarrhea, bang. Because your body has to release it. Sometimes we release emotion energy through burping. Just air starts coming out, you burp. You didn't eat. Very often happen to people when some clients, if they are heavier, I recommend to start the protocol by fasting with plasma. And they are not eating, for example, for 1 week now, and all of a sudden they start getting gas in the stomach. But they are not eating. Where the gas comes from? Well, it's a toxic release. So toxins are showing different symptoms depending how the brain is programmed to show it to us. But once when you understand, when we get the fear out of the equation, everything becomes easy manageable. I highly recommend, if you have been heavily medicated, if you have any heavy issues, when you do the protocol, do it with someone's help who has been through it, who has some experience to guide you. It's going to be easier on you. You will make less mistakes, and you will be much calmer through the process because you will know why things are happening. Very often I tell my clients ahead of a time, look, now this and this, since this is happening, now this and this will happen, so be ready for it, don't worry about it, but so you don't get into panic when things open up. Emotions may start pouring out. Okay, so all kinds of experiences. All depends what kind of a toxin. Remember, it's all just frequency and your brain's interpretation of them depending on its programming. Basic and additional what you have acquired during your schooling, your indoctrination process. So remember, hydration is the key, and if you do it correctly, if you're observant and careful about it, you will minimize pain that comes because you are going to allow and you're going to monitor your body and make sure that toxins which are released from your cells do not linger in the blood. You allow them to get out as fast as possible by leaving all the detox valves open. Once when you go back into drinking 3 liters of plasma a day and no diarrhea, and you start feeling good, don't think that it's all over. Again, you have cleansed most of the stuff, but there are pockets, there are emotions, there are all kinds of things that could be triggered, and you can all of a sudden go again. It could happen at night or early in the morning or even a day, but usually it happens overnight that you have the release, and in the morning you feel the consequence of toxic blood and is detox. So the diarrhea, the cramps, the emotional stress, all this can come early in the morning. Be ready for it. And again, use guidance. It's much easier to go through it when somebody is there helping you than do it alone and guessing what's going on. Thank you for listening. I'm always available, ready to help. We are now in very difficult time, And we all are going through this cleansing process, especially people that have been jabbed. They have to cleanse the stuff out. Unfortunately, most of them are so off and so much in fear that for them, the white coat is a god. Well, we cannot help here. But as we wake up, we start realizing the truth and we search for information elsewhere, not through mainstream outlets. Thank you for listening. Till next time, love you all.